Today, I fucked up by thinking divorce was an April Fools gag. Yesterday, I got a group text from my wife's, Sarah, side of the family, stating there was an emergency family meeting happening that night over dinner at my mother-in-law's, Barb house. I immediately had April Fool's spidey senses starting to tingle, but we hadn't all got together since Christmas, so I overlooked it and said we, my wife and I, were in. We were the last to arrive, and it was pretty somber when we walked in. We all sat down at the table, and my wife's brother, Tim, informed the family that his wife, Ashley, had been having an affair and they were divorcing. The affair was with a longtime close family friend, Chris, who lived a block away. Chris's wife, Jen, had caught them when she came home early one day last week and broke the news to my brother-in-law, Tim. Both families have been friends for years. They live less than a block from each other. They each have been married for more than 15 years, have 4 kids right around the same age. Honestly, I have always thought both of them were picture-perfect families. Hell, all 4 of them and their kids were at our house 2 weeks ago for a barbecue. Anyway, after airing a lot of dirty laundry and their plans to divorce, how it could affect future family functions, and opening it up to the group of any questions, there was silence. I broke the silence with laughter and a slow clap, saying this was the best April Fool's gag I've ever seen, but I wasn't falling for it. I told Ashley, and especially Tim, they needed to consider going into theater. Their performances were top-notch, and tears seemed genuine. Being the newest member of the family, my wife and I married 6 months ago, this was probably not the best thing to say in hindsight. I probably should not have said anything. Everyone in the room looked horrified. My mother-in-law, who had been crying the entire time, lost all composure. She left the room in hysterics and did not return before we left. Tim just shook his head, and his cheating wife actually let out a brief chuckle before calling me out for being a dumbass for thinking this was a ruse, then berating me for being so insensitive. The rest of the family sat in silence, shaking their heads as my wife berated me for trying to make a joke out of a serious situation. I am still dumbfounded. In hindsight, I probably should have sat in silence. But I honestly still feel like I was calling out an April Fool's gag.